happening.
Mm.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Monday night's edition of Paranormal Question a Day. It's going to be a party. See you in a bit. And we are back. And welcome to this paranormal party we are having today. You know, I have to use the cliches. So, hope you guys are doing all right today on this Monday evening. I know it's kind of crappy weather, snowy, slushy, yucky shit weather. Sorry. You know what I mean?
It is. It's
Hey,
nasty.
Carmen, how you doing?
Hi, Carmen.
So Jamie Lynn and Kasaya, how are you guys doing today?
I'm the Jamie Lynn. This is Kasaya. We're doing great. We're the mother-daughter duo of our team.
Very nice. Joe, how are you doing?
I am fantastic. Hello, everyone.
Well, welcome to this party of the paranormal question of the day. And so let's get started. Let's start with Joe real quick here. What got you started into the paranormal and what was your first experience?
Oh gosh. Well, I've always been intrigued by the paranormal, and always been able to talk to spirits. Um, I didn't have my first investigation though until Jamie and I got together. It was about a month or two, I think, after we got started and everything. And then August, we went to Jericho, and that was my first actual investigation. And that was amazing. Truly, truly amazing. Lots of activity.
Wow. I visited the site, but I've never investigated it yet.
Oh, it's amazing. It is definitely amazing.
I can't choose what building I want to do yet.
We were in the convent and the school, and
Okay.
it was lots of activity.
That's kind of what I heard.
Yeah.
And he's
So
supposed to be opening up the church too, so hopefully we'll be able to get into the church this summer too.
that'll be interesting. Someone mentioned to me, one of my members on my team, Nathaniel, was telling me there's like an underground tunnel between the church and the convent, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting.
Hi, Laura.
Hey, Laura. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Debbie.
Hey,
Hey,
Debbie.
Debbie. So, Jamie Lynn, what got you going into paranormal and what was your first experience?
I'm a skeptic, but I've always watched the shows on TV.
Okay.
And I became disabled about 8 years ago. So
Okay.
a lot of binge watching of TV. And I think I watched every show underneath the sun and always
Oh, bleach your butt.
wanted, always wanted to know. So I decided to grab this one here and take her down to Tennessee with the Wraith Chasers, Mike and Chris. And we did investigations with them, and we've been hooked ever since.
Wow. Very cool. And there's
Yeah.
Daniel. These comments just also went poof on me.
Oh, hey, Scott.
There's Mr. Scott. Welcome.
Hi, Scott and Debbie and Nathaniel.
Hey, Ron. Welcome to the show. Ron is in the house. There's Laura. And Debbie again.
Everyone came to the party.
Everyone came to the party. Absolutely. There's Denise.
Weird we are.
So hopefully now the comments will settle down. They won't go poof me.
Yeah.
It did the poof.
So, what got you into the paranormal?
Absolutely.
You.
Getting there.
You. She blames me.
Hey, that's okay.
I mean, definitely a little more into it than I am because I do work full time. I'm a bank teller and other things. So I'm
Yeah.
working 9 to 5 all week, but weekends it's time to party.
Yeah.
Whenever I can.
What's been your favorite location so far? Would you say would it be Jericho and the museum or other locations?
The Leopolis house.
Yeah, the Leopolis
Oh,
house,
Leopas. Yep.
just outside of Shauna there.
Hmm.
That was a good time.
I wasn't
That was
back.
our first private, like by ourselves too, where we weren't with like a big group like the Wraith Chasers or anything like that. So it was definitely an experience to remember.
Okay.
And there was a lot of crazy activity.
I was there back in 2017 or 18, I want to say. That was
Yeah, what did you think of it?
it was interesting. Different, but we were in a big group. Um, and we got to investigate a little bit, not a whole. Well, we got to do a lot, but not like with our own equipment at that point in time because I didn't really have a whole lot except for a recorder and a flashlight. Um,
Mhm.
but get to understand how the REM pods work and the spirit boxes and all that stuff worked, and um, it was interesting. I definitely would like to go back to do a private investigation just to see how much it's different because I heard try to turn it into a bed and breakfast. And I don't know if they did or not. So
No, it's not a bed and breakfast.
okay, because I know that was one of the things that was talked about back then. But other than that, what about you, Joe? Your favorite location you've been to?
Jericho.
Sure.
Jericho is definitely my favorite just because it's the most activity.
Hmm.
I 100% though love Washara when we went up there with the whole Ed Gein. For me, I've seen every movie, read every book about Ed Gein, so it was like literally I was like Charlie Buckets winning the golden ticket when we went up there. It was amazing the first time, and even the second time. I mean, being able to be with all of you guys and Aaron and Nick and everyone. It was such a great experience, and having all of that energy there, it was just amazing.
Yeah. And that was, yeah, I appreciate everybody being up there. And, I couldn't expect a better investigation that we had. I mean, it was nice, widely spread. Guys
Hmm.
got to do what you wanted to do and stuff like that. And I'm just glad everybody had a good time. And,
Oh
and,
yeah,
and me and
definitely.
Jamie Lynn talked about this later on the night. So, but, yeah, I was very happy. Um,
It was a
so
really good turnout that night too.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
was. It was a very good turnout. We had the late last 2 people, but we won't get into those 2. But,
Yeah.
um, each investigation has their quirks once in a while, but, hey, that was my first one to host an event, and, um, I'm looking forward to the next event, and I might have a little something up my sleeve for the next one, so I am working on that one.
Let's
So,
hope.
um So, what is let's see. So let's talk about the shows. Seems out, Jamie Lynn, you watch most of the shows and stuff. So how do you feel about the shows say 10, 15 years ago compared to what they are today? Do you see a drastic change? Do you see a common theme or
Well, it all depends on who we're talking about. Because if you look at people like Jason Hawes and things like that,
Mhm.
I think they've remained fairly consistent in their ethics and how they approach things.
Right.
They're very respectful for the most part. And through the years, yeah, it's changed a lot. They've increased their technology, they're trying new things time and time again,
Hmm.
where other people like Beggins, for example, his work ethics weren't always the greatest.
Yeah.
Way back when he was very provoking,
Hmm.
those kind of things, which I don't agree with at all. but
Right.
each to their own. I'm not saying that he's an awful person by any means.
Right.
That was just what he did in the past, and he's changed now. But I think a lot of that is produced as well on that show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can only get scared out of your pants so often. There's a guy in
Right.
there, Aaron. He goes like ballistic every time he hears a knock. I
He
just
always seems to send Aaron to the wolves right away.
right.
It's
I
like,
do
why
have
don't
to say right
you do
now,
it this
one
time?
of my what's that?
I said, why don't they switch it up and Zach go to the wolves once?
Right? Totally agree with you. I have to say right now my favorite is Josh Purvis and Shane Pittman. Their show, The Searchers, that they're doing on
Okay.
an independent film. Can't even remember the name of it. Vimo, they have it on. But they're trying a lot of new things, and they produce it themselves, and I'm just in awe what they do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's Shane is something he's touched with his what side of it I'm trying to say is more or less like water deprivation type of deal.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting oops, sorry here. I don't want to miss a comment, but that's a very interesting type of maneuver to try and do. Um and it's kind of like going back to Stranger Things and type of deal what they're doing. So
Trying to read the comment there.
yeah.
I don't know, Kasai, what's your favorite show?
The only one I've really been into lately is Destination Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those are a lot of the places that I dream of going about someday. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Helps me build my list.
You'll get there. I mean, the bucket list is never ending. There are new places that are being discovered, and it takes some time. And the thing is, too, a lot of these locations are very expensive. That's the other thing. So,
Mhm.
and I think they're just sometimes they're made for TV. I think.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, I believe every place in its own way is haunted. I
Mhm.
think spirits are everywhere. It's just a matter of how in touch we are with them,
Right.
or how in touch we choose to be with them.
Right. Joe, what do you think?
Oh, I have not watched a whole lot of shows, to be honest. I watched, 28 Days Haunted, of course,
Mhm.
and absolutely, absolutely loved that. I feel like the only thing I can say is I feel like technically, everything has really, really evolved with a lot of stuff as far as like the equipment and how they go about things now, and that seems like it's really, really evolved.
Mhm. And it sure has. I mean, with equipment wise and stuff like that, I certainly agree with that. Um, hey, Mort, how you doing?
Hey, Mark.
Um,
Hi, Maury.
and yeah, you're right about that. I mean, I back in the day, it was just what a recorder, a camera, um,
Hmm.
use their flashlights and whatever else spirit boxes, they came into play, but um, really, it's not since was it early 2000 when the spirit boxes started really coming out?
Hmm. Yeah.
So, how do you guys feel about the apps that we use today?
I don't know. I'd say it would kind of depend. I've seen a couple different ones, so it just kind of depends. I only know of maybe a couple,
Mhm.
but there was a couple that we used that night during the investigation that seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, I think, necrophonics is most I
Yeah.
use for, Estes method,
Mhm.
and then spirit talker is one of my favorite ones that I use, it's like an Ovilus, but a lot cheaper,
Mhm.
so to speak. I think that really, does a really good job to the location and really enhances the conversation a little bit more.
Mhm.
So it's very engaging is what I like.
Yeah.
The other one I used was a music box, which was also made by Spirit Talker, which it actually went off twice that night for the first time using it.
Oh, neat.
So I'm saving some coin.
Yeah.
Um,
We've tried a ghost tube because I has used that more often than I have.
mhm,
And
It's pretty much like an ovulus. It's got a word bank in it.
it's sort of like
mhm.
your Spirit Talker. I think I prefer Spirit Talker over Ghost Tube. But with Ghost Tube, it was pretty spot on sometimes where you're just like, whoa.
And GhostTube is free unless you want a bigger library.
Yeah,
But it's
got
it's
it.
not too bad. The one I use has a EMF detector built right into it, and I haven't had too much luck with that. Every once in a while it'll go off,
Mhm.
but otherwise the Ovilus portion of it works pretty well.
Yeah, and the who uses that, Amy's Crypt on YouTube is, the husband is the owner of that app, which is interesting. Um, Jared is his name, and, he's also got, the SLS format of that app, which he uses that with a LiDAR on his phone. So I'm still trying to find the right LiDAR to use because there's so many different LiDAR apps on your phone. Um
Right.
So I just don't wanna buy the wrong one. Um, and then they got the Vox. Now the Vox, it's its own spirit box type deal.
Mhm.
What do you think about that one? I kinda struggled with that one.
I have no thoughts on it. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but as in I know what it is, but I've never played with it, never used it. So I don't know.
Okay,
I think I've touched it a couple of times, but I just preferred just my regular spirit box.
okay.
I mean, overall, I mean, we would love to have the Ovilus,
Mhm.
but those are impossible to find right now. And if you do get your hands on one, you're spending a pretty penny,
Yes, you
you
are.
know? So
500
I
bucks,
would
I
love to
think,
have
to
one.
start.
Yeah, and that's just a start if you can get your hands on one, you know?
Mhm.
And he's coming out with a new one this year, but you have to be on the waiting list for that, So it's
Okay,
just like, I don't know. So overall, I would love to have an Ovilus
yeah.
over
I think
any app any day, but
right.
that's just personal preference,
I think the 3, I think, goes for, like, 1,500 bucks, I think. That's, like, the most
right?
popular one. So,
Right.
uh so how do you feel about, I should say, what is your most outside the box experience you guys have done an investigation?
My husband and I recently went to Ashmore Estates down in Illinois. It was for our honeymoon,
Okay.
and we actually had a door close on us not just once but 3 times.
Oh,
That's not stuff beginners like us usually see, so that was huge. And we caught the last time on camera. So it
okay.
was something.
Well, I believe it. What about you, Joe? Anything outside the box you're willing to try or
Um,
haven't tried?
well, when we were in Jericho and did the Estes method in the one room, that was like that was a big experience for me. That was the first time I had done the Estes method,
Mhm.
and it was really amazing. Was it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, see, S's method. See, I can't do that. I make my wife do it. I feel so guilty. It's just I can't pick up the words very well. It's that pink noise and white noise that drives me nuts. I mean, it's like 20 minutes and I'm done. I can't do it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But the conversation wise, I do well at it.
Have you used, gosh, I don't know what it's called off the top of my head, but it's used with the SB7 or even the SB11, but it removes that white noise. It's
Oh,
only like $70 to get.
yeah, it's the DAS ANC.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
I don't have that part of it. Um,
we don't either, but I think I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. Last time I checked, that was about $200. And you
Oh
can
no, they're like 60, $70 now.
Oh, are they? Oh, is it the one from Ghost Stop?
Go stop. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of the
I'm
one
on.
that Cat has. That's the big honking thing with the built-in speaker.
Yeah, you still have to get a speaker for it, but you can gosh get a $20
yeah.
speaker too. You
Yeah,
don't
they got
have
the
to
small
go.
little pucks and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of trying that just to see how much better. Otherwise, Austin Maynard, are you familiar with him?
Mm-mm.
Oh, he makes all of like Nick Roth's equipment and stuff.
Okay.
We actually have a laser grid light that we got, or a laser tripwire that we got from him, which is really awesome. But he makes a lot of ghost box and stuff, and it takes out all of that white noise. But again, you're talking, $250 and up.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a fair amount of equipment, but for just starting out, our group, as we call it, is only less than a year old, so everything that we have in less than a year is pretty impressive as far as I'm concerned, but coming up with that extra income,
Oh, yeah.
is hard with all these events and stuff.
Yes, it is.
But it's worth every penny.
Right. So let's talk about, how did you come about with Paranormal Party? Was it just something really easy to say, hey, let's just call ourselves a Paranormal Party group? Or is that just something that kind of happened as you guys were going to events?
Well, I'll start and then I'll let my daughter take over and then I'll let Joe take over. Obviously, I've been into the paranormal for a while, just intuitively wanting to figure out what's going on.
Mhm.
And I mentioned it to my daughter how long ago we should have our own little group, and then we just threw it 3 sheets to the wind, forget about it. And then I met Joe, and Joe and I talked about it, and we're just like, well, we might as well. We're not doing it because we want the fame or to be on TV or anything like that.
Right.
We want it because we love doing it. We want it because we don't just go and ghost hunt. We're amateurs without being amateurs. I mean, we've ghost hunted with some of the best,
Mhm.
that are out there. We've met some of the best of the best out there, so it's not like we're just nobodies. So we want that name for recognition purposes,
Mhm.
for those that do need help, that we are here and
Right.
we're willing to help you at no charge if you need us, and that we're not just pulling your leg, that we're serious about what we do.
Mhm.
So that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's why I wanted to start this. Now, Kasaya, what's your opinion?
Well, I mean, Paranormal Party to me, when people think of ghost hunting or paranormal investigating, they think of doom and gloom. Oh, why? How did you pass? What happened? Whereas for us, it's more, we've noticed when you have fun, when you're laughing, when you're making jokes, you get more of a reaction.
Right.
So it's a party and everybody is invited.
That
Yeah.
positive energy.
Yeah.
And then it makes a place really really just gleam, you know.
Because when you go into things negatively, all you're going to get is nothing or very negative responses.
Right. Right.
At least that's how we feel about it.
Yeah, and you do have to go in a positive mindset, and because otherwise, why are you going to do it? You might as well stay at home and watch TV.
exactly. Now
What
it's
is your
Joe's
thoughts,
turn.
Joe?
Yeah, I just, would agree with what they said. We talked about it, and everything, and I came up with the name and everything, and I just feel that going out there, it's it's just you gotta have, as you said, the mindset of it and be open-minded and
Mhm.
interact with everyone and just show everyone a good time. But yet, as you're showing everyone a good time, you're showing them the evidence of stuff, showing them, in my case, my abilities and whatnot. And then there's the technical side of it and that. So it's just, we want people to have a good time, but we want to show them stuff too.
Right. And absolutely, I agree. I agree with that 100% because like Bill Walters plays Broadhead Manor. You gotta go in
Mhm.
there with a positive mind because he tells you
Mhm.
flat out if you're gonna come in there and be all grumpy and crabby and expecting the world out of the place, you're going at it a wrong angle. You know, it's just the spirits will shut down.
Yeah.
So
And Bill
wholehearted,
is such a positive guy too. He's incredible.
absolutely. Yeah, I can't keep up with the guy.
I don't know how he does it.
Oh, it's all that coffee he drinks.
Yeah, and he's selling it now too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Why not? You drink it, you might as well sell it.
That's right.
So
When we disappear, I've got 2 cats and 2 dogs that we're tending to that are at
uh,
our feet or at our sides. So when we disappear, that's what we're doing. Taking a
I,
break
I
and
just
petting them so they don't bark.
I keep mine upstairs, my cats. Otherwise, he likes to come down here and turn the computer off on me.
Oh,
He's-
I have a ranch house and there's no locking them in the bedrooms.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear you. I hear you.
Just be happy it's not mine.
yeah.
So so here's one for you. So if you have you seen a full body apparition so far?
No. However, when I was in Sheboygan at the asylum, I swore I saw a ghost figure or a shadow figure. And
Mhm.
it just, you can't say it freaked me out, but you have to take that, triple look and you're blinking your eyes and it's there and gone that fast.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, gosh, I wish I would have had my, at least camera taking pictures because you can't do video there.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I've
Um,
only seen one shadow person that was at Melbourne Manor. What about you, Joe? Have you seen a full body apparition?
The first time I saw something was when I was 13 and my dad passed away and he came to me. That was the very first time I remember anyway. Um, and my mom comes to me all the time, full time. And then I've seen when John's grandpa passed away. I saw that night. Um, there's been quite a few that have come to me for sure. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because a lot of times, a lot of my guests that they really haven't seen a full body apparition, and the question is
Well,
usually like, you know,
well,
if you
Joe's is a little bit different though,
right,
Yeah.
because Joe is a medium.
hmm
Right. Yeah.
So Joe sees things differently than like you and I would.
right,
So it's not like you're thinking like the shadow figures, the apparitions and stuff that we think that we're talking about.
hmm
Joe's is different.
right,
Joe's is in touch with those spirits and things like that.
Yeah.
It's not just you know I don't know how to explain it, Joe. You might be able to explain it better.
Yeah. So when I see a spirit, like for example, when I see my mom,
hmm
it's exactly, if I were to show you a picture of her, that's exactly how it is. Full form, and everything. When I saw John's grandpa, it was the night that he passed. And I saw everything except for his feet. But he was just telling me he had made it through. He had crossed over. Um, but especially family members, it's all like I said, my very first one when I saw my dad, that was full figure, everything right there, and
Hmm.
that my sister passed away a year and a half ago, and I saw her full form, helped her to cross over. So
Wow. That's gotta be pretty hard. And it's a lot of families that you haven't, that you've gone through that have come to you to cross over and stuff.
yeah. Well,
It's definitely.
when it happened with my sister didn't believe in all this stuff.
Mhm.
So, and she had a very dry sense of humor. So when I told her that I could help her cross over, she always said in life too, she would always be like, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Whatever. Oh yeah." And when I told her I could help her cross over, that's what she said. "Oh yeah. Oh yeah." She didn't believe me. So, but seeing her once I convinced her that I could help her, and then seeing her bringing her to the light, and it was amazing. It was just great.
Oh, yeah, that's just those things that I probably wouldn't. I don't know what I would do if I see a full body apparition. I'd probably sit down and say, "Okay, let's have a conversation. Let's catch it on camera." You know.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, and it's just so normal for me. It's just you know, every day there used to be times where I would have, oh my gosh, it was like a subway train in my head. Why I didn't see them at the time I was hearing them, especially when I would go to bed, and I literally had to say, okay, we need to discuss this at another time. So,
Mhm. I hear that.
So you've never seen one, Darren?
Nope.
mm,
Your
Nope.
time's coming.
Yeah,
yeah,
well, yeah,
it's
well,
pretty neat. It's very, very neat.
whatever this side doesn't catch, maybe this side will.
Right?
Mhm,
Exactly.
But
mhm.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. So Jamie Lynn and Kasaya, if you come across a full body apparition, who would you want to be, and what would you say?
Who would I want it to be?
Yep, who would you want
Um,
it to be, and what would you say?
I would love it to be my grandma Rita. And I almost cry every time I talk about her. So I would just let her know that I'm proud of her, and I hope that she's proud of me, and that I think of her every day.
Very nice. You, Kasaya?
I would have to say the same for
Oh,
sure. If not her, then her husband, my great grandpa Hubert.
There's just those people that you say that are the kindest of souls.
mm-hmm.
This woman had never have I ever heard her speak unkindly of anyone. And she was always there for everyone. And just an amazing woman. Amazing.
Oh,
You know?
right, right. And that's a good feeling that, once, you have someone that's like that, and it's just so inviting, even when it's not somebody it's inviting that, how they are. So,
Mhm.
Joe, same question, but I know you've seen your family members, but now who is it that you would want to see that you haven't yet, and what would you say?
Oh gosh.
Anything. It could be a
So
celebrity.
I I did some family history and research. I've dug into some things, and I would actually really like to talk to my great grandpa Charles, and just ask him what he did for an occupation,
Mhm.
because I know they immigrated, and it was either 1880 or 1885, and they had some really nice pictures taken for that time. And so I'm like, they must have had a little bit of money for that time. So I would really like to know what he was doing for an occupation at that time.
Okay. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go ahead. Must be my cat I'm hearing upstairs. Sorry, throwing stuff on the floor as usual. Um, I told my son you're supposed to take care of him, but he's probably down here.
Yeah, I'm trying to ask my son to take care of mine, but nope. They're all mama's kids.
Yeah, when it comes to full body apparitions, I don't know who I would want to see. Honestly, that's a hard one. It could be anything.
Well, if I pass, I'm coming for you, Darren.
There we go. Hey, me.
If I guess you have me and Misty coming, because you know darn well she's being buried with me. Misty's my dog, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, now, what really strikes a really I can't talk. I'm sorry, folks. Interesting conversation. So have you guys seen any spiritual animals that are roaming around in any of these locations that you've seen or?
No, but we heard a cat at the Thomas House in Tennessee,
Okay.
at Haunted Hotel in Tennessee. Yeah, we heard a cat. That was pretty interesting, and it's been known to haunt the facility. So that was
Wonder what
cool.
it does. Does it just jump up and scream at you or, you know?
No,
Or
it was like meowing, or people have said to see the shadow of it and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, just weird. But
What about
it
you,
was
Joe?
really cool.
I saw a dog one time. I was doing a reading, and their friend's dog came through, and I could like feel the wind
Mhm.
going through, like the dog sticking its head out, and that was pretty neat.
Wow, that's interesting. Have you been to the Granger House, any of you yet?
No.
Oh, okay. So
No.
we're going in May, and supposedly there is a cat spirit at that location.
Mm,
Yeah.
interesting.
Just don't bring it home.
Well, no, my wife, she'll say, "Come on, you can jump in the car with us."
That would be Cassandra. Because I
Oh,
would bring home any animal if she had a place big enough for it.
yeah. I mean, she already told me straight out. She goes, "If I'm gone and you guys are investigating, you know what I'm doing. I'm looking for that cat."
But that being said, it really makes you wonder, because we talk about like cats and dogs, but
Mhm,
what about the rest of the species that are out there? The deer, the rabbits,
mhm,
when you hear those things in the middle of the night, and you don't know where they are.
right,
Is it, what
right.
is it? So yeah, it makes you wonder.
It does. We all leave imprints on this earth, and when we're gone, you just don't know. I mean, for those who believe in reincarnation, and we come back as something else, you know, heck, I would want to come back as a cat. They got an easy life,
It's right.
you know.
Hey, that Justin Vanderkolk that keeps commenting, well, has
Uh-huh.
commented a few times. That's her new husband.
Oh, okay. A hi,
Just
new
got married
husband.
in October.
Oh, wow, very new.
So she's newlywed.
Live it up. um.
And unlike, your wife,
Mhm.
well, no, like your wife, he goes ghost hunting with her as well.
Yeah.
Now, my husband, on the other hand, nope,
Absolutely not.
wants nothing to do with it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
she was interested in it for quite a while. We've had some experiences in the past that you probably have heard of, I've talked about that's happened. And she likes it. She gets into it, and then there's times where she's just like, I'm not feeling nothing. She's a skeptic as well. There are certain things that work with her, and then there's some things that aren't. Hey Tim, welcome.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
So
Say bye,
Hurley,
Cat.
okay. So Hurley, they have a haunted bar up there, I believe.
I don't know. I'll be right back.
Yep.
She's cat duty.
Ah, yeah. Tim was, if he wants to reply it. So I heard a friend of mine told me to go up to Hurley because there's a haunted bar up there. Anyhow, and
I'm coming back. Tim and Laura actually
wondering.
own a home that used to be a funeral home. So
Okay.
their house is haunted. So they do a bunch of Facebook Lives with their group, Best Friends Paranormal, where they do investigations in their basements and and even upstairs and stuff, where they got a lot of different things happening.
You're not supposed to investigate your own house. Number one paranormal rule: you're not supposed to do that.
Don't say that. My husband's gonna yell at me when I get home.
I mean, I can't say I haven't done mine. I'm sure, I've done mine a little bit here and there, but that's because I've seen a couple orbs. But and I try to reach 11s, but that's just not a lot. I do that. Just get that out there. Not a lot. I've probably done my house once or twice in the last 3 years. That's about it.
I've never done my house.
Yours doesn't seem like it would be.
No, I don't think my house is. I mean, every now and then my dogs will do something, which makes me wonder.
Right.
But nope. I don't care to know.
Yeah.
This is
I
my
know.
little
I
sanctuary.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I've only done mine twice, but that was because we had weird activity going on. Like our oven light would turn on out of nowhere. There was one night we were gone all day, my husband and I were, and we came home and all of our liquor bottles that were sitting on top of our fridge were thrown off the fridge.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's a
And then
spirit.
I guess so. But our bedroom used to be in our second story of the house. I used to work third shift at a bakery.
Okay.
And I wasn't even home yet. And when I did get home, he was freaking out because apparently he heard footsteps coming up our stairs. All of our pets were in bed with him, and the curtains in the bedroom had flown open. And he thought I was home. So when I came home 10 minutes later, he's like, I don't want to be here.
I hear that. Let's see. Okay, so the paranormal field, do you feel that it's going in the right direction? If it's not, how would you change it? Let's go with Joe with this one real quick.
I think as far as like the research and the scientific part of it, I definitely think they are. Because I love how I had Frankie Frank on my live. Him and Aaron, they both think a lot alike. And the science behind that, I think it's amazing to hear all of that and then for people to show the evidence of stuff behind it. I think that that's just amazing because that really brings a whole new level to it. You're not just showing evidence of there was a spirit here or just me talking to it. You're actually showing hardcore evidence of stuff, and I think that that's truly, truly amazing. And the more in depth they can get with that, the better.
Right. What about you, Jamie Lynn?
I think a lot of per se the TV shows and stuff that you see, some have progressed, with new technology and stuff that they're trying to introduce, but a lot of them are just the same old, over and over and over again. Like I love Destination Fear. I don't have anything negative to say about them, but it's the same thing over and over again. So are they per se introducing new things? Not really. Nothing that I've really seen. So I think it all depends on the investigator and who you're talking about, like you brought up with the whole water deprivation thing that Shane Pittman did. I think that's wonderful. Or the whole, like, whatchamacallit, the electric ball thing that you brought to Watoma, and the machine,
plasma ball and stuff like that, and
that machine that Aaron and Nick used when it came to producing more energy. Things like that. I think bringing new things into the field in order to get better responses, absolutely, going in the right direction. Thinking outside of the box. Now, Aaron Thompson is coming up with a lot of new little different things, because he and I have been talking quite a bit. And his stuff just floors me, even though I don't understand his technology and I have to make him dumb it down for me. It's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah,
pretty interesting.
He gets pretty deep. He does.
Yeah, he does.
I know he does the same balloon technique as I've shown as well. And the balloon technique is the first time I saw it was on Destination Fear. I believe it was season 2. I want to say.
Yep.
They already had on the poles and one popped on one side, but that's a whole thing. It's like I like to try. It's okay to go cheap. For those of you out there that are watching, it's okay to go cheap on equipment. You don't have to get the latest greatest thing. When it comes to digital voice recorders is another thing too. I'm very particular on my digital voice recorders now that I have learned throughout the years of doing this is, my first one was $40, and then I jumped right to a task cam right away, which I should have never bought one. It was just having too many problems with the task cam, and and now I stick with my Philips, and I love my Philips. It's got 360 microphones, and that's the way I like it, and it catches everything. And my wife brought up a good point at the Wilshire County is that, and I didn't realize that being in a factory for so long, you're used to projecting your voice out a lot, and you don't really realize it. But then she's like, the spirits can hear you when you're talking so quietly. The recorders will catch everything. I'm like, you're right. They may think that you're shouting at them.
Exactly. Yeah, we just have a simple Sony one, I believe, and we haven't had a lot of great responses from it. But again, we've only been doing this, together, for about 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, but there's been little things where you're like, and then you try to debunk it. Now, I'm the biggest skeptic on our team. I'm like, whatever. When Joe, feels something, it's not that I don't believe her, but I want the validation. I always want validation. I always look into things further. Maybe it was this, maybe it was that, and even with Kasaya, she's come up with things, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, she gets all excited over things that she's heard or seen or felt or whatever, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I wasn't there. I don't know. I have to see it to believe it, hear it to believe it, and then I got to try to debunk it. I have to try to make rational sense out of everything.
Right.
So I'm not very jumpy, and it takes a lot for me to feel uncomfortable in places.
Right.
I
don't want to feel uncomfortable in places neither, though, either.
Yeah, I'll walk around buildings by myself like it's nothing, There's only been one place that we've gone to that gave me the heebie-jeebies, and that was
Tracy City Cemetery.
Oh yeah, I freaked out in Tracy City at the cemetery there. It's the only time I really got freaked out, where I was like, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was, and I quickly walked away.
She just run into me like.
Go. Wow.
You
Yeah.
running out of questions, Darren?
No, I'm trying to think of something in my mind here. I'm going on a whim here because sometimes I like to get the best questions on a whim.
Well, to kill some time, I mean, like my husband said, something that's refreshing, especially for a younger group like me.
Mhm.
We're into a lot of those younger, newer YouTubers that are starting to get into this, like
Yeah.
Sam and Colby and Mindseed and Twin Paranormal. And a lot of things we see with these people who are doing it personally compared to like the big TV shows, they show
Mhm.
a lot of gratitude with the spirits when something happens. They say thank you, they say please, they say all of those kind words that are just, I feel, are necessary because to me, when you enter a place, you're the guest
Mhm.
because they were there first. So that's a big thing. And then the technology too that we're learning about. One thing I really want is an envoy. It's like touch activated
Oh
where they
yeah.
can touch their emotions and they can say yes and no like that. So all those little things that you don't see on the big shows anymore.
Mhm. Why do y'all think we don't see a lot of all women groups do see in the changing? I think they touch over it. Oh, do you see it changing? I'm sorry. All women groups.
Well, she's right though. I mean, you look on TV and, there's no all women groups that are, on TV.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think, Joe?
I think, and this is just from my experience with some other people that I know, and that I feel like a lot of times it's harder maybe for women to come out
Mhm.
and like say that, oh yes, I would like to do this, I would like to do that, show interest and stuff like that. So that might be something, but I definitely think I feel like it's a whole new age for women, to be bold, be brave, be beautiful, and that.
I think that sometimes I feel that I've done a show about women in the paranormal, and on a radio show I've done it. Um, and I think women are overlooked a lot and are second guessed to the shows and second guessed to whatever. I think you guys bring out a lot of stuff when it comes to location wise and bring out the great ideas and that sometimes us guys don't think about sometimes. And I find it very helpful to have you guys on investigation because the sensitivity and the emotion you guys bring into investigations and stuff like that. I think it brings a lot to the investigation. And heck, a lady can be a leader in investigation. It's not always has to be a guy that leads the investigation. A woman can do it as well.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, and I think that's just it. I mean, for many, many years, there was this stigma that the paranormal was dark, and
mhm,
you had to have brute behind you so you didn't get, your pants scared off of you, things like that. And, it was a man's world. Not strictly men, but primarily a men's world. And, within the last couple of decades, more and more women are coming out and, we do have that different side to us. We think out of the box a little bit more when it
mhm,
comes to emotions and sensitivity and things like that. So, I
right.
mean, I think that with the two combined, it's awesome, you know. Um, Now, just because we have us three in our group doesn't mean that Kasai's husband can't tag along or my friend Jason can't come or that you can't tag along. We're not like it's us three girls and that's it, you know?
Mhm,
We actually have a lot of people that come along. I know one of my close friends, her husband likes to join us. He joined us in Ashmore early last year too. So,
Mhm.
but
yeah.
he had no idea what he was doing. It was his first time, so he pretty much let me take control. It's one of those things where it depends on the person and it depends on the group and how they want to go about things. We're open to guests.
And just for the shout out, because it was Kimmy's question,
Mhm,
Kimmy does also have an exclusive all girls group.
okay.
Now, at times, yes, Tim Smith is involved with that group. because his wife is included in it. But yeah. So shout out to you and Best Friends Paranormal, Kimmy, Debbie, and Laura, and Azriana.
So, what is the holy grail of the paranormal to you guys personally? And if you got it, would you keep investigating, or would you say, "Okay, I'm hanging out my ropes. I'm done. I got what I wanted, and that was it"? Joe, want to go with this one first? Sorry.
Gosh, I was trying to think right away as you asked it. Gosh, I don't. I think I'm just gonna say this because it was the first one that came to my mind after I thought about it. So Jamie and I have talked about different places, like a bucket list, so to say. And one place, because we've both been intrigued by true crime. And so one place that I would definitely like to go would be the Lizzie Borden estate.
Mm-hmm.
So if I got some sort of confirmation there, some sort of, definite hardcore evidence or something, that would be like I would feel complete probably.
So, would you say then? Would you just say, "Okay, that's it. I got what I wanted, and I'm done," or would you?
I don't know. I'll hopefully I'll live to be 90 and I'll still be doing this, whether it's in a walker or whatever, maybe we can just set up the equipment on the walker and, wheelchair, whatever, and that. And cause you gotta keep doing what makes you happy. Cause
Yeah.
that's what keeps you young, I mean, I tell people my age and I have 8 grandchildren and they're like, no way. I'm like, yeah, cause you gotta live life beautifully.
Yeah. Oh. What about you, Jamie Lynn?
I told Kasai she could be next.
What's that?
I think my holy grail, it doesn't even matter where I am. I just want that bone-chilling experience that affects me for weeks. And it wouldn't stop me because I love what I do. I love being able to do these things. I love having a hobby with my mom, but just something like somebody spoke in my ear that wasn't there, or something touched me that wasn't there. Just something that would shake me up for a little while.
Oh.
That would be my confirmation.
And to me, my holy grail, I don't think that exists. I want to feel it all. I want to see it all. And then I want to keep going for more.
There you
That's
go.
how I feel about it. I'm not afraid of, the evil. I mean, it freaks me out, but I'm not afraid of it. I think, just like in everyday life, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Right.
and I'm not afraid to walk out my front door every day, so I'm not going to be afraid to, walk into a supposedly haunted house, that may have something negative there as well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, I'm not afraid, like some people maybe of getting
Right.
attachments and things like that. I think that's a one-off. And if it is, there's people out there that can help you.
Right. Right. I hear you. I hear you. So what? Speaking of locations and stuff like that, let's start with you, Jamie Lynn and Kasaya. What is on your bucket list? I'd say top 5.
Oh my gosh. The Velisca Murder House, of course. That's a number 1. Oh, good Lord, there's so many. I can't say that there's a top 5. We're willing to go everywhere and anywhere. If I become a millionaire tomorrow, you best believe that, every weekend I'm gone. But yeah, we definitely want to hit up more places that are, within a 6 to 8 hour radius of us. We are new. We just really started going out with Joe and stuff just last fall, and we've, again, a lot of different places, a lot of different things, and we just want to keep going. I know Kasaya's got some certain ones that she wants to go to, like the Cheney Mansion, Melbourne Manor.
I think my top one though is the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just to be able to experience that would be. It doesn't even have to be paranormal. Just to walk through it would be something. And if you get something paranormal, great. Villisca Axe Murder House is definitely in the top 5.
Oh, Defiant High School in Ohio.
I do want to visit the Zach Baggins Museum.
Just to say she's been there.
Yeah.
I'll pass. $100 a ticket, and you have to sign a waiver. I'll pass.
I've seen Sam and Colby that I mentioned earlier. They were able to get in and do a private investigation of the whole museum,
Mm-hmm.
and that was actually interesting.
Wow.
So if we ever had the chance to do a private investigation without the actual tour with Zach, I would definitely be up for it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. There are also places in that.
Joe, what do you think?
Oh, well, like I said, the Lizzie Borden, and then the Congress Hotel in Chicago, that's with H.H. Holmes and whatnot down there. I think there's a couple other places in Chicago.
Correcting him.
Those are my 2 big ones.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, definitely in the axe murder. I don't. Oh, and then I have not been to Sheboygan, the asylum. I want to go there. I definitely want to go there. So those are my top ones.
I was there back in 2017.
Mm.
Back then, you had to stay in a big group.
Yeah.
And now
I
you
bet.
can. I think you can go or wander by yourself now, can't you? I'm not quite sure.
Yes and no. You can book private investigations, which is very expensive. But
Yep.
I mean, I guess it all depends on what you want to spend. When you do a group investigation, they do ask that you stay with the group. But I mean, if you're seasoned, they'll let you go off on your own. But
Right.
now they're opening up this summer where you can investigate with them for 2.5 hours, then go for an hour and a half on your own.
Okay.
You know, so they do have other options available now.
Right. I know that there's one wing that's in particular that they want you to stay out of because it's all set up for burglars that come in and then they trap inside the doors. I remember about that. I don't know if they changed that, if they still have that. I'm not sure because I know they have guard dogs as well.
I believe they still have that where you're not able to go there. But they did open up another building there or are opening up another building there this summer too.
Oh,
So
And-
it's not
go ahead.
so it's not like it was in the past.
Okay. And Ron brought up Waverly Hills, which Sheboygan Asylum is heavily compared to Waverly Hills, size-wise, I want to say. But I haven't been to Waverly yet.
Joe and I haven't booked it yet, but we're like this close to going to the Joliet State Prison in May. Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman and stuff are doing another event there
Okay.
that I really want to go to. But again, it gets expensive, you know,
Yeah.
$270.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is Dave and Mike Rixer, they do a lot of tours, different places and whatnot. And it's they go to like they've been to Egypt, and then that's on my bucket list big time is Egypt. So I would love to go out there with them, especially, you know, being a psychic medium and going in the tombs and everything. That would be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Darren?
Well, I've been to Malvern. Love it. Need to get back. See, Villisca Axe Murder House. I have not been there yet.
Well, if you need extra bodies, let us know.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
I'll be
Waverly
heading that
Hills.
way in I don't think so either.
See Waverly Hills. Um, let's see. I like to do the Boyd House. That is on my bucket
Oh
list.
yeah, that one too. Yep.
And it's cheap. I mean, that's the thing is it's not so expensive, and you can spend the night there.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
Winchester Mansion, I'm not sure. Old Pittsburgh Hospital, absolutely, I want to go to that. Bobby Mackey's, yeah, I want to try that one. Now the Conjuring House, I'm not so sure of because everybody's been there to Conjuring House.
Mhm.
And so that's something that's kind of like you see so much of it that it's like I don't know if I want to make that travel there, but
Right.
the one that's tip of the iceberg for me, which I know we're not allowed to go into just yet until somebody moves out of this house, but the Amityville Horror House is one of my top locations I want to get to. Um, I think that is a fantastic location to try and see if anything is still going on. So
Mhm.
my belief it's there still is. They say there isn't, but that's just something that I believe wholeheartedly. Um,
Mhm.
let's see. That's
See,
just
I
naming a
want to
few.
do more residential, you know,
Mhm.
places, but I'm having a really hard time. How do you advertising, promoting, getting your name out there, without sounding like you're a total freak, what post an ad in the paper, I hunt ghosts, you know what I mean?
Well, and
So
go
I'm
ahead.
struggling with that. So if anybody has any tips and would like to reach out, feel free.
Mhm.
I haven't done a residential house season myself. And I reached out to Tim Miley, and he takes those a lot more personal. Where no, I don't really allow people coming on with me with those, and I get that. I totally get that because it's confidentiality and stuff like that, and being new and trying to adjust to doing a different kind of way of investigating. Because when you're doing the residential versus commercial, it's a whole different side of investigating.
It
Um,
is.
and you really got to put yourself in a good position for that. I know there's a few houses around town. I'm sure that if they need help, they can see me on Facebook and give me a call or whatnot. But the other thing too is that um, I being the booker of the museum and stuff, I got a business card out there. So
Yeah.
that's another way too. I think is a good outlet to just pass along, to somebody and have them on hand. I got mine off of Amazon for was it 30 some dollars? So for
Yeah,
500
we have them too, and we've been handing them out here and there.
right.
So yeah, you got them.
So,
Joe and I did do, only because I wasn't available that night. We did do one residential,
mhm,
and this couple was absolutely amazing, and their
Mhm.
house was definitely had activity in it, but it was all pleasant activity. They just wanted that verification, that validation that they weren't nuts, that, something was really there,
mhm,
so we were help them, but they didn't want us to like move these people on or anything, the spirits on,
right.
so it
And
was an easy case, but we enjoyed every minute of it.
yeah. And do you
you know.
believe that spirits have a choice to move on, and that instead of just moving them on,
Um, I'm touch and go with that. I personally feel that if the spirits aren't causing any harm, aren't doing any wrong, and don't necessarily, yeah, do any harm, that why force them to move on? Let them be. You're never going to clear this world of all of them.
right?
So let them coexist. Now if it seems like they're struggling and they want to move on and they want that help, then yeah, I think that we have an obligation as investigators to try to help them move on, to try to
Mhm.
help them understand that it's okay to go, you know, but I don't think that any of them should ever be forced.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's, um, I don't have any say or power to do something like that. But how do you feel about that, Joe?
Oh, 100%. They have a complete choice in whether they, want to stay or go. The only thing with that is that I would say is if there was a spirit that was causing negativity or harm that was just staying around for that reason. That would be a hard one, but we haven't, and I haven't come across anything like that. A lot of times it's more closure.
Mhm.
They want to be by the families. They want to, know that the families know that they're safe, the other families are safe.
Yeah, I get that.
Mhm.
Just make sure I don't miss any of the comments here. Portals. And I'm sometimes I get it with portals, but so okay, if you guys ever seen a portal, um, now would you walk through it if you're able to walk through it, or would you keep yourself out of it?
Mm, I don't
I
think
don't
I'd walk
necessarily
through.
believe in portals.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah, I believe in portals, but I don't know if I would necessarily walk through one. Um, just because you never know. I mean, even if you're talking with a good spirit and everything's going good, so to say, every good neighborhood has a bad side to it. know? So I would be leery of that. I wouldn't walk through the portal.
Okay, well, let
I
me
would.
ask you this, and anybody can answer it for me. I mean, all of you can. What is a portal to you? Is it just an opening where spirits can come and go as they please? I mean, is that what you feel a portal is?
So like
It open at a certain amount of time.
yeah, I have a scrying mirror, and that's a portal. And when I got it, it's not a mirror, but it's it's a silver plate, a little saucer, and I just was very drawn to it, so I got it. And there's definitely energy in there. There is a male in there. So definitely that's what I consider to be a portal. Like
Okay.
I believe, if I keep it in a certain spot, but I believe if I kept it out long enough, if I talked with the spirit enough, I'm sure he could come through all the way over onto our side.
Okay.
See, and to me, I would almost consider that like a haunted item, not necessarily a portal to me, you know,
Right, I get
because
what
I
you're
mean,
saying
I
with
do
that.
believe, I do believe that mirrors, I mean, not all mirrors, but a lot of mirrors, can, with different reflections and stuff, produce a certain energy to make things appear.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I don't think that every mirror is, I think
Well,
it has to be.
yeah, and actually, if you think about it, I was just thinking, even in a sense, our body is like a portal or a vessel, because like when we do what the trance and that, the spirit guide is talking through you. So, I mean, you could even, say that your body is a vessel or a portal, as far as in that case, anyway.
So
Yeah,
Ron's gonna
to me, I think everything's almost a portal,
Right.
that they have their own will to come and go as they please.
Right.
We are expecting a Black Mirror to come to the museum sometime in June, I believe. If Thomas will get back to me on that when he gets a chance. He's a busy guy. But Thomas Hunsker has his black mirrors that he does, and he's got his sorted all the way out through McIntyre Villa, um, Melbourne Manor, Villisca Axe Murder House. He's got 2 other locations, and then the museum being number 6, which we're going to put that in the upstairs jail is what we decided to do.
Mm. That's interesting. That'll be exciting.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, there'll be directions on there and how to use it and stuff like that. And definitely we'll have cameras on the mirror itself.
Mm.
That way, make sure that, for those who aren't familiar with mirrors that I wouldn't ask for you to just try scrying it. You're not familiar with it and don't know how to use it. I would ask you not to use it because, the veil is going to be there to turn it on and off, but we also don't want nothing destructive to come through.
Right.
So, and in their thought that in their minds that a spirit would come from different locations through the mirror and stuff like that. It's what they're kind of looking into, but I don't certainly this mirror object towards. Okay, interesting. So it'll be interesting to see how that all transpires and how things get going. And like I said, I mean, I've told Lori too, as if it becomes an issue. I mean, it'll be, it can be easily there, it could be easily taken out of it. We just got to make sure that nothing else has come through, and make sure everything is okay. So it will be a try and see how we go with that. So, other than that, holy man, it's almost 9:30.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we gotta excuse Kasaya here. She's gotta get going. She has to be up really early in the morning, so she's gonna be heading out here.
Okay. One last question. So this has been a fantastic interview. Thank you both, all 3 of you for being on. I appreciate it. And so what kind of message would like to leave with the viewers today, and in a positive note?
Me?
You can go first.
Okay. Don't think of the paranormal world as all doom, to be honest. That's it. It can be a party. It can be fun. Have fun. The more bright energy you bring into a place, the better it is.
Absolutely.
Me, I'm very big on para unity. We're all in this together, so let's keep it that way. We don't have to love everybody, but we can agree to disagree and go about our merry ways, and do things how we want to do them for ourselves, and be kind to one another. The stigma of the paranormal being the dark, gloomy is gone, as most of our viewers already know, bring that love, light, and happiness into everything. Have that party, not necessarily going out drinking. Have a good time. Enjoy yourselves,
Right.
and the spirits are going to enjoy it with you.
Absolutely.
So that's what I would love to see more of. And a little off subject, but then we'll get to Joe. Any of the viewers out there that are going to be at Broadhead Manor for Spirits in the Spring, we do have a vendor booth there. We'd be happy to say hello to each and every one of you, along with Michigan Paracon. We're going to be out there too, as well as the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference too. We're going to be at all 3 of those this year, just because they're a little bit more local. I mean, I know Michigan Paracon is 6 hours away, but it's still not Tennessee or something,
Right.
And at any other events that we're going to be at, keep a lookout, because we've got a lot of fun things coming up, hopefully this summer, and that we'll be doing Facebook Live, so you're welcome to join in. Okay, and then there's Joe.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just be open-minded. Just, be open-minded, because I know when I told my sister, I was a witch. She was like, "Oh no, don't get into any of that stuff." And I'm like, I don't worship the devil. That is not what it's about. Let the stigmatism go, the stereotypes and all that go, and just go and see it for yourself. Experience everything for yourself before you give anything a stereotype on it.
I agree. Well, thank you all for joining us for tonight's show. Thank you, Jamie, Lynn, and Kasaya, and Joe for our awesome input on the paranormal field. And we definitely had a party tonight.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much for having us.
absolutely.
Thanks, everybody.
So if you like I said, if you like to catch us, we are on the Paranormal Brew and BB3 TV networks. I just hit my mic, sorry. And if you don't have Facebook, join us on the YouTube channel, on the MGS Paranormal YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate you follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your night and the rest of your week. This coming up Friday, we'll have our psychic medium, Michelle Jacobowski, on Friday night at 8 p.m. So stay tuned for that. And with that, that's Joe, that's Jamie Lynn, and Kasaya, and I'm Darren. I bid you adieu, everybody. So long.